Come on in, baby, have a seat. Do you like heavy metal news? Babe, I got a treat for you. We talk about the good times, sad times, fun time, every time with me, Shane D. Do you want to have a good time? Heavy metal podcast, heavy metal fun time. I can't believe it, I'm having such a good time with Shane. He's my friend, he drives me insane. He's got the news, he's got the treats, he's got the beats. So get on your feet, stand on your feet for Shane, here he comes. Oh, Jesus, that was good. That was good. Guys, we're cutting the fat on this one. You guys have at least 5 different, there's in the comment section there. They are small novels. I am not kidding you. And so we are going to cut the gristle and the fat and stuff off this podcast. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes. We got to get to business here. I've got a video of, I want to see Greenday run off stage. We're going to watch that before we get into your comments today. Greenday's rushed off stage because of a drone. And it looks like they go for that bass player fella. Like he's the best. No, Billy Joel. He's the guy you want to save first, but you see the guy kind of grabs the bass player, and then Billy Joe looks over and runs off stage. They're doing one of their big hit songs, but I will say this. If anyone was going to assassinate Greenday, it would have been during American Idiot, okay? It's you guys are still a massive success, I'll give you that, but the times have changed, and you're not the neatest thing in the world anymore, so, you know. But someone was flying a damn drone, and I saw a video of Faith No More too, where Mike Patton's trying to get it in. Come on, get in closer. He's trying to hit it with them. Stories galore. I'm surprising you right now. This is Paul Diana right there with his satanic hat on, but that's not the top story. Here's this one right here. Scotty Hill. Now he looks old enough to be. I don't remember the name Scotty Hill ever being in Skid Row. But there's Sebastian Bach, a.k.a. Sabatino, and this fella right here, whom I don't know who he is. I know the guy that's got the earring to the nose, and I know Snake Sabo, but I don't know who this is. But he said he rules out a reunion with Sebastian Bach. He says, "I don't want to be in a room with somebody I don't like." I'll just tell you that right now. If I don't like somebody, I don't even get in the room with them. It's got to be rough on holidays. But let's get into this. We're gonna thunder and power on. What are we not talking about? Sodom, new record. Testament, working on new record. Motley Crue, they're gonna put out a 35th anniversary Dr. Feelgood something or other, and they use the image from Home Sweet Home era when Vince had the pink lipstick and the Pink Panther pants on. I don't know why they did that. Slash, he's doing something for Halloween Horror Nights, some kind of a studio album. David Coverdale, I see it right here. David Coverdale, he's doing a remix of the version of Wherever You May Go from Into the Light, the solo albums. I don't know what any of that means, but welcome one and all. Am I a little sporadic? Long day at work, but here we are. In a new interview with Appetite for Distortion podcast. Fun, good name. If I didn't call my podcast Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo and Appetite for Distortion was available, I would have that. Skid Row guitarist Scotty Hill. So you get in the comments and tell me, please, in a short paragraph, please tell me, Scotty Hill, what's the deal? Scotty Hill spoke about the band's search for a new singer because things, Skid Row following the recent exit of Eric Gronwall. Eric, who was Skid Row's 4th frontman since Sebastian's departure, was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in March 2021. As a result, he is immunocompromised, a word I've never said in my entire life, but I've said it now, which made touring very difficult. Scotty said, as transcribed by blah, 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 we are looking at some people, okay? We've got a nice list of people that we're going to sit down with. Me, the Sab man, which I call him, and Earring to Nose. We're all going to sit down and we're going to look at this list. And we're continuing to look. But it's not like Smashing Pumpkins. And we're just inviting the whole world to throw their tapes on our desk. That's a little over the top. Really? I think Skid Row would be one of those bands that you'd want to send your cassette tape in. Asked if singers have reached out to him and his Skid Row cohort, I'm going to call them cohorts, and bandmates about trying out for the group. Sometimes you guys think that I'm messing up, but I'm looking at the words and my brain is comprehending that something is fishy, something is amiss. And there it is, trying out for the group, or if they are actively seeking out potential vocalists. Scotty says, lots of people have reached out, okay? I understand why, but I'm not, what do you say? Lots of people have reached out. I don't understand why. I understand why. But I'm not the guy to get in touch with. I love Skid Row. Skid Row is my family. It's my life. Maybe he's going to answer our budding question. But when I'm not with Skid Row, I'm in here at my home doing stuff. So I kind of keep my fingers out of the whole thing. But a lot of people are getting in touch with us. And some of them are really good. Some of them are not really good. It must have been that singer am I going to get in trouble for this? That singer for Steel Panther, maybe he reached out. It wasn't like the old days where you had to put an ad in every music paper in the country and word of mouth and all that stuff, pre-internet. It's much easier now. As for whether there is a preference of whether it's a name singer or not, Scott said, no, it doesn't even have to be a guy. Look at Lizzie Hale of Hailstorm, who played 4 shows with Skid Row in late May and early June as a guest vocalist. I mean, she came and freaking rocked it. It could be a woman. He'll also once again address some fans' incessant calls for a reunion with Sebastian Bach, who's the singer during the most commercially successful period. While they never stopped asking about a reunion, this is what Scotty the Scott Man had to say. He says, well, they're never going to stop asking about a reunion. But for me, and I think I can speak for the other guys, at least the Sab Man and Earring to Nose, I think I can speak for them, guys. It's just simple quality of life issue. People are like, just put your differences aside and do it. Well, I don't want to do it. There are no differences. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in a room with somebody that I don't like. We did great things in the past. He's doing a compliment sandwich. Except for it's kind of a, what do you call that? Au gratin, when it's just open on the top and there's not the bread slice on the top. Because usually you give a compliment, then you just rip them apart and tell them everything you hate about them, and then you end on a compliment. It's the compliment sandwich. And so he says, I ain't going to be in a room with someone I don't like. That's what that part, which is kind of the compliment or the insult part. But then he says, we did great things in the past. That's as far as he's going on the compliment part. But this is about way more than a band or music. Do it for the fans. No. I'm not going to put my good life and well-being and peace. I'm not going to sacrifice that for the fans. Nor should you. That's not what I do. And anybody that calls himself a fan wouldn't ask the band to put themselves through something they don't want to do. Now he's throwing it back on the fans and say, shame on you for asking. How dare you? But people just want what they want. People just want what they want. They just want what they want. They want that band back with that guy. They still want Bon Scott back in AC/DC. I mean, they can't do that, guy. I'm not even going to bring up the obvious facts that he's dead for years, but they still want Bon Scott back in the band, AC/DC. I mean, come on. Pressed. Who's this fella? Who is this guy with the Appetite for Destruction podcast? Distortion podcast. Because he's pressing him now. He's pressing him, pressed, about whether there is a specific personality trait that makes a Skid Row reunion with Bach impossible. He said, here's what the Scotty man says. I don't want to have food poisoning every day of the week. That's all. It's toxic. There's no specific thing. I mean, there's a lot of specific things. There's a lot of specific things I can tell you. And we've always been really tight-lipped about that. And maybe someday we'll just start talking about it. Is it crazy that Sebastian Bach, after that photo, because you saw the photo, Ronnie, the Ron Man. Did you watch my video, the Ron Man and with Jelly Roll? He posted a photo with Sebastian Bach in a ball gag. And silence. I haven't heard a peep from Sebastian Bach or anything else. It was like, boom, there's this photo. And I'm like, is he on all fours with a ball gag in his mouth? And it's just silence. So maybe that's a bit of that tight-lipped stuff that they're like, maybe we'll just start talking. There's a lot to talk about. Let's put the focus somewhere else. If you don't like Skid Row without that singer, you don't have to listen. And on the flip side of that, if you love that singer, if you love both of us, then go see him. Go see him. We're talking about Sebastian Bach. Go see him. I'll tell you what. I'm in love with that man. No. You know what I'll give him? Is the guy puts it out there, man. Ball gag and all. He puts it out there. He is 100% rock and roll all the time. There's your compliment, guys. It came a bit later, but there it is. He is 100% rock and roll all the time. Sebastian's going to read that and say, I love the Scotty man. I like him better than those other two. And he puts it out there. So if you go see him, you're going to get a rock show. Okay? But I don't need that in my life. I'm not going to put myself through whatever. I just don't want it. That's what happens as you get older. You start to go, you know what? It's just not worth it. Where are we parking the car at the concert? It's just not worth it. Let's get into this really quick. Blackie Lawless. I was going to say the black man. Blackie Lawless, the lawless man. He's going to say stuff. He's going to say something about Chris Holmes, the guitar player that's on all the classic, really good records from WASP. He's going to go ahead and take a duty on him right now. Let's see what he says. Blackie Lawless rips Chris Holmes. If that guy had genuine creativity, he wouldn't give two hoots about what I do. My goodness, Blackie. In a new interview with Cassius Morris. We've mentioned him before, it before. We Are Sexual Perverts lead singer, front man, Blackie Lawless was asked if he has seen former WASP guitarist Chris Holmes' documentary film, Mean Man, the story of Chris Holmes. And now I haven't seen this. I don't know. Blackie's going to say, no, I haven't. I haven't made the time. But it's worth a watch. He vapes a lot. I wish he'd stop doing that because he's really pounding that vape hard, man. He's got one of them big, fucking machines. It's not a vape pen, it's a fucking machine. It's like, oh, that can't be bad on your lungs. Now, I did it. I'm telling you. I was having panic attacks like no other. Stop doing that if you're doing it. Stop smoking cigarettes. Yeah, Shane. But I smoked cigarettes for 15 years. And now I'm vaping and I'm off cigarettes. Congratulations for that. Now you got to kick it down the next step. And someone could say, well, Shane, you do them damn goddamn, what are they called? Pouches. You do them nicotine pouches with the mint flavor in them. Don't tell me you don't do it, and I'll say, yeah, I do. But that's because I got off the vapes. So leave me alone. Who the hell are you to tell me anything? All right, Mean Man, the story of Chris Holmes, written and directed by French filmmaker Antoine de Montremé and Laurent Hart. The project, which was made available on Blu-ray DVD, you can watch it on Tubi if anyone's paying attention here now. I do believe it is on Tubi or Freevee. There's a Pluto TV. Those three are free, but there's commercials. And I do know that it is on one of them because that's where I watched it. Blu-ray, DVD, and VOD in January 2021 was born in 2014 after de Montremé and Hart had an opportunity to meet and direct Holmes in a music video for the Holmes penned song Let It Roar in Cannes. And I believe he lives in France. At the time, now the 66-year-old rocker had more or less disappeared from the music scene, leaving his home in the United States of America to seek out new beginnings with his wife Sarah in France. Blackie said about Mean Man, I have no desire to see anything that has to do with that. First of all, you want to base anything you're going to do in life on truth. And you know what? It may be his truth, but your truth doesn't necessarily make it a fact. Anybody can have their own truth, but that doesn't make it real. And when somebody's spewing a bunch of hate because they can't create on their own, listen. If the guy had genuine creativity, he wouldn't give two hoots about what I do. So that's the yardstick on how you judge those things. And if somebody's coming from a perspective where they're not telling the truth, I'm not going to waste my time on that. Well, he makes a couple of things in there, he's got a very good point that Chris Holmes makes in his documentary about after the first record, it was Blackie Lawless on the cover. It's like the next goddamn record, it was him. Then the one after that, it was him. If that was the reason asked if that was the reason he didn't participate in the documentary, Blackie said, well, I don't recall being invited, but if I would have, I wouldn't have done it. Like I said, I've got no desire to do something. If it's based on truth, then I might have taken a look at it, of course. But for a guy to do a tutorial for an hour? What? But for a guy to do a tutorial for an hour, or however long it was, I don't know, because I haven't even looked at the IMDb page for it. I'm assuming it's an hour. Where are we? I don't recall being invited. If it's based on truth, then I might take a look at it. But for a guy to do a tutorial for an hour, or however long it is, because I do not know, to sit and give just their side of the story, that's not based on truth. Why do I want to be part of that? Well, I would say, Chris Holmes, please contact Blabbermouth and tell him, all right, let's sit down and do a debate. Everyone's doing debates these days. Sit down and do it. He'll blow some of that black cherry brandy vape juice right in your eyes. And just, my God, I can't, my eyes are sticky. My eyes are sticky. Blackie also once again dismissed the possibility of a reunion of WASP's original lineup: Lawless, Holmes, guitarist Randy the Randy Man Piper, and the drummer Tony Richards, which I always, for some reason, call Richardson. but it's Tony Richards from the upcoming tour celebrating the 40th anniversary of the release of WASP's first album. He said, "Allow me to be unapologetic for just a moment, if you will. If you don't mind. Allow me. The band that I have now, Mike Duda, is one of the best bass players in the world. Doug Blair is one of the best lead guitar players in the world. Achilles Priester. His drumming speaks for itself. I do not need to tell him that he is the best in the world. Have you seen that El Sabarino? My God, he can play. I'm fortunate enough to be in a band with the world-class musicians. The guys that are way better than me. And I look around sometimes during the show and I think to myself, wow! I get to play with these guys? And I'm being honest here. They're far better than me. So why would I want to go back to something that would be taking a step backwards? I understand that the hardcore fan base likes to romance ideas in their heads. I totally get that. But when we started doing WASP's fourth studio album, 1989's The Headless Children, I was moving in directions that required musicians that the original band could not do. I don't mean to be overly hard. It's just, again, these are just facts. If you want to do stuff where the degree of difficulty is up there, then you're going to have guys that can play it and play it consistently. And then by the time Headless was done and I moved on to 1992, as you may remember, the Crimson Idol, forget it. Forget it. I mean, look at who played on that record. Your average run-of-the-mill musician is not going to be able to do that. You don't call Chris Holmes your average run-of-the-mill musician. You didn't credit him on those records, sir. That's one of his gripes. And he signed away his publishing. So he's really screwed. And again, I was privileged to work with these guys that were world-class musicians. If you're gonna get that level of creativity, professionalism, it's almost impossible to duplicate in an original situation. If the band grows together, then yes, you could. But if the band does not grow together, then it's never gonna happen. And it doesn't matter whether it's us or what band it is. That's going to be the same every time. Let's get into Paul Di'Anno here really quick. Just talking about meeting Bruce Dickinson. He says, everyone thought that we hated each other. And it's like, no, you didn't strike me as two folks that would get along all that well. And who really likes the singer that replaces him? If I was in a band and I got replaced, I'm probably not going to be going, let's play pickleball next Tuesday with the guy. You know what I mean? All right, I think we're humming along here, guys. I really do feel like we're humming along. Let me spit my little thing out. You can hear me hisping and wisping in there. It's because I've got a thing in there. Now I don't. All right, so let's just cool it. One more story. The Greenday. Bryan Adams. I wanted to hear how he wrote songs for Creatures of the Night for Kiss. What? I remember vaguely something about that now, like War Machine or something. But it's like I want to know how that linked up, and Bryan Adams going to tell us. Paul Di'Anno, the Di'Anno man, says, "Play me a song, you're the Di'Anno man." Bruce Dickinson in Croatia. He met him. They finally met after so many years. Everyone thinks that we hated each other, which is bullshit. In a new interview with SDTV Stone Dead Festival, former Iron Maiden frontman Paul Di'Anno, who has been performing in a wheelchair as a result of his serious health problems for most of the past decade, discussed the progress of his treatment. 2 years after he underwent major knee surgery in Croatia. It's just his knees? He said, "It's improving a hell of a lot, I gotta say that right now. The only problem is, and I'm sad to say, with me own country, it's a piece of shite over here in the United Kingdom for the NHS, National Health Service, a comprehensive public health service under the government administration. It's broken completely. I got away, I get with the lymphedema. What? Lymphedema. A chronic condition that causes swelling in the body's tissues due to a compromised lymphatic system. Things I've got here, it's like it's all full of fluid. 2 hours with the medical staff over in Croatia, it's gone. Bloody gone. Come over here, back to the UK. They don't even do that lymphatic drainage. A gentle massage that targets the lymphatic systems. Is that in your balls? Which resides just beneath the skin, Shane, I'll have you know. Or they wrap you in bandages. We just took them all off yesterday and put compression stockings on. I got me compression stockings on now. And they won't even put that on you unless you go through all these channels. Fucking England. You're finished, mate. Paul also reflected on his recent meeting with the singer who replaced him in Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson's Croatia, and Bruce, who was promoting his new album, The Mandrake Project. Performed with his solo band on July 13th at Hala Zagreb in Zagreb, where Diano had been receiving treatment after undergoing his knee surgeries. Our conversation was private, mate, so I say no more. Everyone thinks that we hated each other, which is bullshit. That's the press for you. But we know each other, obviously, from when he was in Samson and all that. So yeah, it's all good. Well, congratulations, buddy. That's all we need to know about that. Does it say anything about Bruce? Saying, well, I think he's a very fine fellow, and it was quite an honor to give him a push around the arena and in his wheelchair and say, I hope your lymphatic drainage is working out for you in all the special ways. Paul Diano. Bryan Adams. Canadian Dream, right? Is he Canadian? Looking good there. Is the skin finally cleared up? Or is the picture just far away? He's one of the very few men that have the like debilitating acne scars, yet still very handsome. He's just got the face for it. Bryan Adams, and that's not to knock on people with. I got some splashes, all right, of some acne scarring. Okay, so hashtag I'm down with it. Bryan Adams explains how he ended up writing songs for Kiss's Creatures of the Night. I would love to know a little bit more about that. Oh boy, where's he doing? During a September 3rd appearance on Sirius XM's Trunk Nation with Eddie Junk in the trunk. Legendary Canadian rocker Bryan Adams spoke about the 2 songs he co-wrote in the 1980s with Jim Vallance. And I thought he was like the Center Square. That's not the same guy, though. Center Square on Hollywood Squares. I think it's Bruce Valanche. Jim Valanche and Kiss's Gene Simmons. He said, I was 21 and I released my album called You Want It, You Got It. And I got a call from a guy called Michael James Jackson. No, it's not that Michael Jackson, who was a producer at the time, and he called me to say, hey, I really like your record. And I'm actually working with this band. Have you ever heard of them? They're called the Knights in Satan's Service. Would you like to write a couple of songs with them? Because they just, was it the first record? And then they says, let's get some writers in here. Where's Desmond Chuck? We need a writers in here. Right? I mean, it's pretty early on. They started going, we got to get some people in here to write some tunes for us. They probably got Ringo to write, yeah. That's very Beatles-like. And he called me to say, hey, I really like your record, and I'm actually working with this band, Kiss. Would you like to write a couple of songs with them or for them? And I says, yeah, what? Is this for real? And he said, yeah. And so they flew me to Los Angeles, and I met Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley and Eric Carr. Miss Althea, there you go, Eric Carr, who was the drummer at the time. I sort of sat down with each one of them individually and wrote songs with each one. I wrote a song with Paul, and I wrote a song with Eric, and I wrote it with Gene. And I didn't write anything, Gene, and with Gene. I didn't write anything, but Gene had a really good bass line that I sort of recorded on my cassette recorder, and I took it back to Vancouver, and I was telling my usual songwriting collaborator, Jim Valance, that I'd done this thing, and check out this bass line of Gene's. And we listened to it, and within an hour or so, we'd written this song called, so wait a minute. This fellow flies Brian Adams out to Los Angeles. They tinker around. He records the bass line, then goes back, and Jim Valance comes up with a song in an hour. He got a free damn trip to Los Angeles out of that. With my songwriting collaborator, Jim Valance, that I'd done this thing, and check out this bass line. And we listened to it, and within an hour or so, we'd written this song called War Machine. So that's how War Machine came about. And then, just to drag Jim into it further, he had a song that he had wrote by himself called Rock and Roll Hell. I said, we should retool that song because it didn't do anything, and we should retool it for Kiss. And he said, okay, let's give it a go. So I came up with a verse idea, and then the two of us sort of came up with the lyric idea, and we finished the song and sent it down there. And that became the second Kiss song. What was it? Gene wanted a third verse, so he wrote a third verse for it. What was that? Rock and Roll Hell? Why am I not remembering that tune? Last month, Adams released music video for his version of War Machine and Rock and Roll Hell. Both originally appeared on Kiss's 1982 album Creatures of the Night. Brian Adams did music videos. Well, we got to see that. Adams released War Machine and Rock and Roll Hell as a limited edition double A-side 7-inch single on August 30th via his new independent label, Bad Records. When the War Machine Rock and Roll Hell single was first announced, Brian explained in a statement, "Here are two songs I co-wrote when I was a 22-year-old struggling songwriter. I got a call out of the blue from producer Michael James Jackson. No, not that, Michael. To see if I would like to write for Kiss, which I was thrilled to do. And these are a couple of the songs that were the result, written with both Gene Simmons and Jim Valance." Let's get into Greenday here. I've got it queued up where he goes, "Bite my lips and close my eyes, take me away to paradise." I think that's where it's at. And then you see a little jumpsuit here. Somebody runs over. They don't care about this guy. Who the hell's this guy? He's a fourth man on guitar. We don't care about you. You can get hit by anything. But they run out, they grab him, orange jumpsuit, and they leave old poor Billy Joe out there to be, Greenday Current Saviors Tour is celebrating the 30th anniversary of the band's 1994 breakthrough album Dookie and the 20th anniversary of the 2004 American Idiot. Support on the track is coming from the Smashing Pumpkins, Rancid, and the Linda Lindas. That'd be a fun time. Mike Espinosa's going, "Oh, fuck yeah, I'm gone." Let's see what he's going to say. Bite my lips and close my eyes. Let's see. By myself. There we go. It's like a dog in heat. Now keep your eyes on Orange Jumpsuit there. He's the bass player, long time. Yeah. Take me away to paradise. Now here he comes. Toby, get the fuck off the stage. Get off, man. Get off. Get out of here. Now watch, Billy Joel. What? Oh, see that? They left Billy Joel out there. Oh, they got a guy here. So that guy came out and said, Billy Joel, man, we got a drone attack going on. This guy's going, well, what's up? Say, dude, you're on the salary. You're on the payroll. You got to keep playing the rhythm. Let's see. Can do it by myself. We'll watch it twice, guys. Come on. He's feeling like a dog. He's living in the barn doors with the summer streets. Take me away to paradise. Toby, oh my God, you gotta get out of here. Toby, oh my God, come! Hey, what's going on, mate? Oh, shit, oh. Hey, yeah, you too. Hey, buddy, yeah, you too, okay? Yeah, you too. They're still singing. Yeah, you got to run off the other way. Let's get into your comments because, my God, we have a barnstorm. We have a situation, and I may have to. Okay, we got 2 bars here, so I'm happy with that. I may have to just run and take a restroom break. I'm sorry, but it may have to happen. Mike Buchanan coming in here. Well, Shane, I'm irritated and I'm still here. Just kidding. Woo! It's another Jive Talkin. Whoop, whoop. So going back to another movie that are brilliant. Movies that are brilliant and are on my top 10 movies of all time. I'll tell you one of mine right now. Want to know one? Greatest movies of all time, and I love it, and I've seen it 100 times. The Elephant Man. David Lynch. Anthony Hopkins starring, John Hurt as the John Merrick, the Elephant Man. Beautiful movie. Invasion of the Body Snatcher, 1956. Sorry, but none of the remakes over the years pale in comparison to the original. An all-time classic, a great underlying message of all it takes is one person to make a difference versus following the crowd blindly and what makes us human. The pacing in this, where this film shines tremendously, filmed with paranoia, dread, and fear that the person you're watching could or couldn't be a human ramping up constantly. It keeps, okay. This is an extremely quick film that moves at lightning speed. After 20 minutes, the editing is excellent as well. Lightning speed, 20 minutes. The editing is excellent as well as we stay squarely focused on Miles and watch as he arguably starts out very robotic in his own right and slowly becomes more human by being frantic, scared, rebellious, and full of emotion throughout the film. The music is very good also. It really ramps up tensions and dread throughout. The cinematography is very well done with on-location, low-budget style cinematography throughout. The camera work is excellent, and so are the special effects. The only minor complaint is the locations are very unmemorable and unassuming. The acting is very good, also with great chemistry between the 2 leads. The only complaint is while everyone is very good, I wouldn't say any are phenomenal. They're all very much like regular, ordinary people, which I'm sure was the intention to make it seem like it could happen to anyone. Yes. The same can be said for the cinematography. Overall, though, This is an extremely memorable film and definitely one everyone should give a try once. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. I really hate to go take it. Well, the good news is that Miss Althea is not there. It'll be Johnny B, so I'm going to go take a restroom. Johnny, I'm taking a restroom when it gets to your comments here. Okay, on to Michael Sweet. First off, he's a marketing genius. He tends to walk a tightrope where he just throws out a little tidbits of possible controversy as to get Stryper's name out there in the news. Like I said, marketing genius. In this case, he's pretending to not like Metallica, so you and others will make videos or news articles. That's very good. If you notice, he mentioned several times about Stryper having a new album coming out, or that there's a release party for the album. Reports or whatever will pick up on the Michael said blank about blank and run with it. All the while, he's getting more publicity for free. Been doing this for decades. Mike Buchanan on Michael Starr, depending on how this goes, he might be upset with me when I said that one of the bad singers that was going to try out for Skid Row was him. Michael Starr is a lot older than you think he is. He was born in 1965? Wow. I kind of like Steel Panther back when they were one of those cover bands. Their first couple of albums are decent, but the shtick has lost its appeal to me, as their albums are pretty much the same. They are all really talented musicians for sure. Oh, and why would anyone have let that band on America's Got Talent? Yes. Mike Buchanan says, while it's somewhat true about what Mark says about America not being a metal territory, I will say, he's talking about Mark Tornillo and Accept saying that about that. I will say we still hold our own and produce some of the best metal bands around. For most of the bands that get larger crowds in Europe and Japan than they will here in America, just go look at the huge festivals that Europe puts on. Think Wacken, while we here get Burning Man. And man, why did you have to bring up Family Obligations? Okay, and man, why did you have to bring up Accept this week? By the time you read this, Accept and KK's Priest will have played the live show in my hometown, and I cannot do it because he's doing the Family Obligations. Oh, and Mark was in the band called TT Quick. Oh, I've heard of that. Medal of Honor, fantastic band. Mike Buchanan says, no one said that we Iowans were the brightest people. Iowa does stand for idiots out wandering around. Hope Sid Wilson recovers quickly. Mike Buchanan here says, I echo the statement of rescuing, or in one of our cases, getting a puppy from a coworker whose dogs had an accidental litter. Or in the case of our cat, stop by any farm and ask the farm if they have any kittens they want to get rid of. Free kittens. Go try it if you are looking for a cat. Yeah. You don't go to them freaking salons and buy your damn dogs. You buy them out of the one. They're firing up the euthanasia right there. Like, God damn it. Here he goes. Here's Spot. Spot's going down. And they say, wait, we have a buyer. That's what we want to happen there. Jokes and then a whiz. I'm sorry. But I can push it hard. You wouldn't believe it. And now it's time for Jive Talkin' Jokes of the Week. What do you call nuts on a wall? Walnuts. Interviewer. How do you explain this 4-year gap on your resume? Me. That's when I went to Yale. Interviewer. That's impressive. You are hired. Me. Thanks. I really need this job. What's the angriest nut? A pistachio. Today, I was struggling to get my wife's attention, so I sat down on the sofa and looked comfortable. That did the trick. Seems to be that way, doesn't it? You sit down to get comfortable and then somebody does something to ask you to do something. I'd be a terrible superhero. I'll be at home and see the signal calling me in and think, I literally just sat down. I was going to cook alligator for dinner, but I realized I only had a crock pot. Is it crazy how saying sentences backwards creates backwards sentences? Saying how crazy it is? That's going to twist you off into Vector 7 right there. And finally, me. It doesn't have a tail, so I'm pretty sure it's a hamster. Tech support. Fine. Right-click on your hamster. That's pretty good. All right, I'm putting that heart right there for you. Johnny B, I'm sorry, you got to hold on. You guys got some novels and stuff, okay? Hold on. Oh, Lordy, oh, Lordy, oh. Just feels better. Curious how long that was. Did you hold your breath? Can you do that? Are you like one of those people that can hold their breath for a minute and a half underwater? And maybe you're just like, yeah, I'll just hold my breath till he comes back. Another Johnny B, the John man, John B. Now that I got an empty tank, it's time to reload. I've been watching Forged in Fire. Whatever the hell that show's called. I love that. I'm starting to get all the lingo and stuff. Oh, he went in for the quench. Now the tang on that thing is kind of crooked. You know, I mean, I'm all in. But there's like a channel that just runs 24/7 with Forged in Fire. And it's on the Tubi. It's on one of them. Tubi, Freevee, Pluto. I have Netflix. I have all of them. I don't watch a damn thing on them. Except for I absolutely love, and I think it's genius. I think you should leave with Tim Robinson. I think that stuff is just, I love that stuff. Johnny B coming in here. He says, another week, another action-packed episode of Jive Talkin with the one and only Shane Diablo. Motley Crue needs to do one of two things. They either need to step it up as far as music writing and production or call it quits. It's either or. They got John 5 and his hairless rescue dog to join the band, and they need to utilize him and his talents. The two songs they've released so far are not good, and I'm fairly certain John 5's dog could have done better. Oof. Or they could just call it a wrap, cut their losses, and find something else to do. Dogs of War and the remake of Fight for Your Right are not good examples of quality that these guys should be focused on. They need to hire a producer like Rick Rubin to get them back on track and step up the quality. Yeesh. Johnny B says, I have a confession to make, ... I had never heard one Steel Panther song until I heard about them from Jive Talkin. So I decided to give them a first listen and see what all the hype was about. I listened to I Like Drugs, Asian Hookers, The Shocker, and the classic Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home. Oh, they have that one. I thought that was a Neil Diamond song, but okay, Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home. Not too bad for an 80s parody band, really. I can't say I'll go see them live or anything, but I would turn it off. But I wouldn't turn it off if they came on randomly. I expect a lot less compared to what I heard, so I expected a lot less compared to what I heard, so I'll say that and leave it at that. If there are any recommendations, let me know. I always got some stuff here. Interviewer. Johnny B says, interviewer. Hey, James Hetfield, do you know that Michael Sweet, the sweetest boy, and the band Stryper hasn't heard and doesn't prefer your music? James Hetfield says, 0 fucks given, dude. Yeah. Another great episode, Shane. Thank you for doing the first listen to ISIS. Love that band, and the song you listened to is an awesome representation of their catalog. Wish they would have made at least one more album together. Maybe one day. R.I.P. to your battery. Until next time. And then he's got an edit here. To answer your question from last week, Ashford and Simpson sang Solid as a Rock. Peaches and Herb sang Reunited and it feels so good. Thank you, sir, for that. Ashford and Simpson. But see, here's the thing. I'm thinking Peaches and Herb. But the image in my head is of Ashford and Simpson because I thought the lady was hot. But the guy was, the mustache, and he was like, interesting fellow. Kind of had that, kind of greased hair and stuff. If that's the same one, so I'm thinking. Azure Peaches and Herb reunited, which would be great tune to do on one of your intros. This is not a request, just a suggestion. Very well. There's your heart, my friend. Well done. Thank you. Miss Althea coming in here. I thought there was going to be, seeing this fella, Gene's coming in, Gene Krobel. I thought Miss Althea didn't show up. So I did some clicking and some redoing and everything else, and then all of a sudden there she was. Bang. The Dumbstruck Fool says, have you considered investing in an extension cord? I am trying to help you out here, darling. Unless you want to keep playing battery roulette. She also says that she is super excited about finally figuring out how to change her YouTube handle name without ruffling the feathers of the proverbial bound and gagged Google account she established 17 years ago. So did you do something different? Is it just showing your name now? Is that what you're talking about? Like Johnny B up here, that's, it's like Bowie MB, for Mike Buchanan there. But now yours says, it's right there before my eyes. Let's see. Just saying the right out with let's see. 17 years ago. Just saying this right out without a topic header. I will reiterate that anyone who is incessantly complains about your starting and stopping or just talking in general should not be patronizing the channel. Yeah. That's what it is a lot of me talking. And it doesn't end when this camera goes off. I'll talk to myself. I talk to the cat. I'll talk to the TV. If they are annoyed, they don't need to watch and don't need to listen, period. I am honestly not trying to be a bitch, but isn't this just common logic? I 100% agree. And you're getting a thumb today, too, with art. Miss Althea on Michael Sweet and Metallica. His statement seems to err more on the side of being hypocritical rather than fabrication to me. Maybe he is trying to overcompensate for something he does not remember saying years ago, or for simply not being a huge Metallica fan, as would be stereotypically expected from another metal musician. I don't know. Or, God forbid, there is something going on with his cognitive function as an after effect of all the surgeries he's had. Between his health and Oz's, Stryper's upcoming tour seems like a huge undertaking. And their two-set costume change show sounds Las Vegas residency worthy. I'm butchering it, but we're getting through it. And yeah, their health is, I'm wondering if he's got his vision back all the way. You don't want them bumping into each other, back there half naked when they're making their costume changes. We need to get into the soldier for command, into under command outfits. Now get out of my way. I can't see very good. And she got parentheses around this. Miss Althea on Michael Starr. First, I just want to say that he will always be Ralph Sands to me because I saw him perform when he was fronting LA Guns. He was born in 1965, by the way. He's 1 year older than me. That aside, the best quote from him in the whole piece was, "Everyone is entitled to their own damn opinion." Amen. This is definitely a mantra and what should be a golden rule, especially in music. Especially if it has been made clear that those opinions are exclusively their own. I believe there is a difference being voicing a personal opinion and putting statements out there that are perceived fact, i.e., I'm right and you're wrong attitudes. There you go. The song, okay, here we go. The song, Solid. It's just called Solid. The song Solid was by Ashford and Simpson, by the way, and not Peaches and Herb. I will say, though, that Peaches and Herb jam Shake Your Groove thing. Oh, that's them too. Shake your groove thing, yeah. That is one of my all-time faves. Okay, Peaches and Herb, they got the power. Miss Althea on Mark Tornillo, that fella from Accept, singer guy. I always read his name as Tomillo, also known as Time. That's Thyme, Time. And I ultimately get a hankering for either Tex-Mex or Italian food. Oh, he's Italian all day long, isn't he? Fucking, you better believe it, Shane. Fucking Mark Tornillo's fucking from Sicily. I got relatives. I agree with his comment for the most part, as the metal music landscape certainly has changed, not just here in the States, but elsewhere. And I also agree that all the fusion styles of music has become overwhelming. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, but then again, it all comes down to the song. You know what I mean? You can have all that influence and everything in there, but if it's just like, look at what I can do, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this, Falling in Verse runs into that a little bit. Where he's doing, it's like you're putting bits, here's some thrashy stuff, here's some new metal stuff, here's some this, here's a little hip hop bit. But if those guys that know how to weave that in there, it turns into something great. I'll say this, Sleep Token. They do that R&B sex metal. I call it, sexy metal. And they might not even say we're not even a metal band, but they got some really heavy parts, but he's very emotional singing guy. Let's see. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but then again, I basically live under a rock and seriously don't know any of the current artists who are topping the Billboard charts these days. I don't know either. I have a hard time trying to find it too. It's like I'll get on Spotify and go, top 40, what's the top 10 fucking hard rock songs right now? There's nothing. It's like, where is it? I want to see it. Miss Althea on Sid Wilson. Gasoline on a smoldering fire. Really? Jeez. Miss Althea on John 5. Don't they say people look like their pets? Bless him for being an animal advocate and promoting adoption/rescue. All of my cats, past and present, have been rescued, and I would not have it any other way. Fantastic. Bang. Now, Gene, I glazed over this. I hope this isn't going to be a sermon. I know you're coming in with some Striper and some Michael Sweet stuff, but I hope this isn't like Sunday's sermon that you're about to deliver to me. But Gene Crobel coming in, and he's got comments. He says, I will comment on the Michael Sweet bit and verse they use for their band. I read that sentence completely wrong. The Michael Sweet bit and the verse they use for the band, Isaiah 53:5. The verse talks about prophecy hundreds of years before Jesus came to earth to die as a suffering servant for mankind. God paying for his sins. If this is against your religion, you can turn this off now. But turn it back on for the intro, okay? I'd really like you to hear what I can do on that keyboard. God paying for the sins of the world. The only payment for sin was a perfect sacrifice or substitution for us. I get the idea that the Isaiah 53:5 and with these stripes you are healed is the taking the coffin and the whipping and all the punishment part. Nothing we can do can pay for our sins. God simply is too holy, and because he is perfect, sin can exist in a perfect place. It will be judged. And no amount of good things we can do can ever pay for that. Really. We broke most of the 10 Commandments already. I break them on this podcast. A solid 6. Because you guys don't know, but I really didn't go to the bathroom. I went to kill. I run out the door, find somebody, quick kill, just one of those, and then I just ran back upstairs. At least 6 commandments a day. And no amount of good things we can do, 10 commandments already, and moral law. So we deserve it. We deserve judgment. If God's standard, as he says, if we hate, we commit murder. If God's standard, as he says, and please reply to this comment if you've tuned into this bit here. Please put it inside. Comment on this thing. So it's like I just want to make sure that we're getting as many people on here as we can that have stuff to talk about. If God's standard, as he says, if we hate, we commit murder. If we look on a woman lustfully, we commit adultery. I'm doomed. Not on the first one, but on that second one, I am doomed. If we lie, doomed. Cheat. I don't know if I cheat. Steal, never. I don't think I steal much. In a manner ever, it can only be paid by God's Son, death as a substitutionary payment, because justly he is just God too, and must allot sin to hell. He is just God too, and must allot sin to hell. They got a good teamwork going on there. Jesus and the devil. They said, we got another goddamn load coming down for you. There's got to be some kind of communication. You say, you can't overload me. What are you doing? I got mass murderers and everything down here. You're killing me. Let some of them liars and cheats get away. Let them stay up there. Sin must be judged because he is just. Justice. He's the high justice. Judge, jury, executioner. We might not like the payment and such, but that's only the only way we can be justified or have sin paid for is to believe God's Son, Jesus died for us, and accept the gift of substitution for our sins. Be sorry we have sinned and desire to be changed and live for Him. And give Him and give our lives to Him. Where's the Matthew? Okay, Michael Sweet's down here. Okay, so sorry for the long version, but Jesus was whipped and beaten, stripes. See, we could have got that right there because I knew that bit. He took beaten. He took a beating. Stripes were the beatings He took, and if we believe He died for us, then the nuance meaning is, I would be curious if Stryper ever did anything. I mean, I doubt it. They're sweet boys, but I bet old Michael came in with a shirt that said, "Look at these, with these stripes here, hill. Look at that. Look at this picture I drew or something." Had the Heavenly Lord on it with the whips. And Robert probably said, "You son of a bitch, you get that out of here." Because I'm just curious about that. The nuance meaning is we can be healed. Yes, okay, I'll read that again. So sorry for the long version, but Jesus was whipped and beaten. Stripes were the beating He took. If we believe He died for us, then the nuance meaning is we can be healed, forgiven of our sins, and one day fully redeemed in heaven with everything new, including new bodies. Oh, I would love one of them. I'd take anything that didn't ache at this point. Anything that did, with the spine, the neck, and the back, the muscles, the knees, everything didn't ache, I'd take that. It's really a packed verse. Okay, there it goes. Michael Sweet is making a statement that his band Stryper is advocating this. And maybe somehow they think they have a place where that message will get through their band. They've been doing it for 35 years. And it's gotten through pretty quick, pretty sure. Gene says, my opinion, as much as I love a lot of their music and do like their songs that talk about Jesus accurately, okay, that's it. He likes them, and the songs that are talking about Jesus accurately, as accurate as we can get. I heard a crazy thing on, I don't know where it was. Jesus would not know what a white person was. If he was alive today, is that true? Like, that would be true. Because the land bridge, just all that, right? Is that crazy? He wouldn't even know what a white person was. He'd be like, look at that. God damn, what is that? Is that a pig? Are the pigs walking on too? Like, I don't endorse being mixed with the world and its heavy metal. The music is, okay, what? I don't endorse being mixed with the world and its heavy metal. The music is outstanding, but lyrically, and okay, this is a song, positionally, Christian heavy metal is a bit of a paradigm. Are these tunes of the Stryper? Holiness and godliness etched in a genre style of grunge, rock, and heavy metal is almost cultural to the world ways and message. I'm lost. If Christian heavy metal is to be separate, then we should keep, why does it have to be separate? Then we should keep those lines clear so there is and remains a difference between Christian message and the world's. That's my 2 cents. Hope some of this made sense. Very little, Gene, but I appreciate you. I just hope that people don't start chiming in. Should we just put an addendum in there? Can we just not talk religion or politics, please? For my head explodes. I appreciate every ounce of this. I could have used a little bit more of the Michael Sweet bits, but we do a lot of Christian metal and stuff on the channel, and I would hate for my Jive Talkin to be filled with love can be so cold and loneliness What song is that? There's a better way on you. Hope some of that makes sense. Little, but thank you. As for his ideas of Metallica, I don't know. Sounds like you might have an accurate statement that kind of puts Michael in a spot where he needs to be honest and genuine and not burn in hell for it. Christians most certainly should tell the truth at all times. God bless. Yeah, you're getting a heart there. I'm curious to click these two comments because I know they're probably going to be, I don't know. But I appreciate you, Gene. I appreciate you, Johnny. I appreciate you, one and all, Mike and Miss Althea, and good times. What was that Striper song? Always there for you? I'm always there for you. So, there we go. I'm always there for you. Always there. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get on. Let's rip it. Thanks for hanging out.